My name is Michael Chen, and I'm an investigative journalist. For the past 5 years, I've been chasing a story that I never thought I'd have the courage to tell. Tonight, that changes. What I'm about to share with you will challenge everything you believe about what's happening in our skies above Asia. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is the truth, and it's more terrifying than you can imagine. It all started with a phone call that changed my life forever. 3 months ago, at 2:47 a.m., my phone rang. The voice on the other end was shaking with fear. Captain James Wong, Singapore Airlines. 23 years of flying experience. He just landed flight SQ447 from Tokyo to Singapore, and he was calling me because he knew I investigated unusual phenomena. "Michael," he whispered, "I saw something tonight that shouldn't exist, and I think they know I saw it." Captain Wong told me about March 15th, 2024. His flight was cruising at 37,000 feet over the South China Sea. Clear skies, perfect visibility. At 11:47 p.m. local time, his radar picked up something massive that shouldn't have been there. At first, I thought it was equipment failure, he explained. But then I looked out my cockpit window, and I saw it. A triangular craft, the size of 2 football fields, hovering silently above the clouds. No navigation lights, no sound. Just floating there, defying every law of physics I knew. But Captain Wong wasn't alone that night. Air traffic control in Manila tracked the same object on their radar. A Japanese military radar station confirmed the sighting. 3 independent sources, all seeing the impossible. When I tried to contact these sources myself, I hit a wall of silence. Official statements were retracted, files were classified, people stopped returning my calls. That's when I knew Captain Wong had stumbled onto something huge. And that's when the real investigation began. My first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A message on an obscure internet forum, posted at 3 a.m. by someone claiming to be a former South Korean military officer. He'd witnessed something near the DMZ that haunted him for 15 years. I met Lieutenant Park in a small cafe in Seoul. Rain was hitting the windows as he nervously opened a manila envelope he'd kept hidden for over a decade. "I've never shown these to anyone," he whispered, pulling out photographs, radar printouts, and official incident reports. "But after seeing your investigation online, I think it's time people knew the truth." The Korean incident, as Park called it, happened on November 3rd, 2009. He was stationed at a radar facility near the North Korean border when 7 unidentified objects suddenly appeared on his screen at 2:30 a.m. These weren't normal aircraft. They were moving in perfect formation at Mach 3, making sharp 90-degree turns that would kill any human pilot. Vertical climbs that defied physics. And then after exactly 47 minutes, they simply vanished. Standard protocol was to scramble fighter jets, Park explained. But our commanders told us to stand down. And the next morning, the official report stated, "No unusual activity detected." The radar logs were wiped, the photographs were confiscated, Park and his entire team were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements. Officially, the Korean incident never happened, but Park kept copies. And now, 15 years later, he was ready to break his silence. From Seoul, my investigation led me to Japan, and what I discovered at Mount Fuji changed everything I thought I knew about this phenomenon. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, a respected seismologist, had been monitoring volcanic activity around Fuji for 30 years. When I contacted him about unusual readings, he agreed to meet me privately. "Look at these seismic patterns," Dr. Tanaka said, spreading charts across his desk. "This isn't geological activity. This is something else entirely." For the past decade, his instruments had been detecting strange vibrations around Mount Fuji. Not earthquakes, not volcanic activity. These vibrations occurred in precise intervals, always between 2 and 4 a.m., always lasting exactly 47 minutes, the same duration as the Korean incident. But there was more. Every time these seismic anomalies occurred, local residents reported seeing lights in the sky, triangular formations, silent craft hovering above the mountain before disappearing into the forests. Dr. Tanaka opened a locked briefcase and pulled out thermal satellite images from the Japanese Space Agency. Images that were never meant to be public. "This was taken 3 weeks ago," he said, pointing to a bright geometric shape on the infrared display. See this heat signature? It's not natural, and it's definitely not human technology. The object was massive, perfectly circular, generating heat in patterns that matched no known aircraft. But the most shocking part was yet to come. We've detected identical signatures at 17 different locations across Japan, Dr. Tanaka whispered, all near mountains, all in remote areas, all following the same 47-minute pattern. 17 locations, 17 potential bases, and all of them active. As I compiled this evidence, I began to realize that what I was investigating wasn't just random UFO sightings. There was a pattern, a coordination, almost like a plan. That's when I received the call that nearly ended my investigation permanently. The voice was electronically disguised, but the message was clear. Stop digging or meet me tomorrow, your choice. Against every instinct telling me to walk away, I agreed to meet at an abandoned warehouse outside Bangkok. 11 p.m. No lights, no witnesses. The man I met there had worked inside the system for 20 years. I'll call him Deep Source because his life depends on anonymity. What you're investigating, he told me, is bigger than you realize, and it's been going on much longer than anyone suspects. Deep Source handed me an encrypted flash drive containing classified documents spanning 5 decades, evidence of what he called the Asian Protocol. For 50 years, he explained, governments across Asia have been coordinating their response to extraterrestrial contact. Not disclosure, not investigation, containment. The files revealed a network of joint military operations, shared intelligence, and cover-up protocols stretching from Japan to India. Every major UFO incident in Asia had been cataloged, classified, and buried. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. They're not just visiting anymore, Deep Source whispered. They're staying, and they're building something. Armed with this evidence, I began mapping the locations Deep Source had identified. What I found made my blood run cold. The classified files revealed underground facilities across Asia. Officially, they didn't exist. Unofficially, they were hiding the biggest secret in human history. A facility beneath the Gobi Desert, officially listed as a mining operation. Actually, a joint Chinese-Russian research station studying recovered extraterrestrial technology. An island off the coast of Thailand, supposedly uninhabited. In reality, a quarantine facility for witnesses who'd seen too much. A complex hidden in the mountains of Nepal, labeled simply as Communication Hub. Communication with whom? But the most disturbing location was a facility in Malaysia that the documents referred to only as the Exchange, where recovered technology was traded, where agreements were negotiated, where the future of human-alien relations was decided in secret. I verified these locations using satellite imagery. Every single one showed signs of recent construction, heavy security, and electromagnetic shielding designed to block surveillance. These weren't storage facilities. They were active operations with budgets in the billions and personnel in the thousands, all working to keep the truth from the public. But the truth was about to find me. 3 days ago, I received a final message from Deep Source. Just 3 words: they know, run. But before I could disappear, one last piece of evidence arrived. A video file with no return address and a timestamp from 72 hours ago. What I saw in that video confirmed my worst fears. The footage showed a meeting in what looked like an ordinary conference room. Around the table sat military officials from 6 Asian nations, scientists, government representatives, and 3 figures whose faces were obscured by shadow. The audio was partially corrupted, but I could make out fragments: integration timeline, population readiness, disclosure schedule. And then, at the 47-minute mark of the video, that same 47-minute pattern I'd seen everywhere, one of the shadowed figures stood up and moved into the light. What I saw wasn't human. The figure was tall, maybe 7 feet. Its skin had a gray, almost metallic appearance. Its head was larger than any human's, with eyes that seemed to reflect the light like mirrors. And when it spoke, its voice had a harmonic quality that resonated in frequencies I could feel in my chest. It was discussing terms, agreements, treaties that had been in place for decades. And from the conversation, it was clear this wasn't first contact. This was an ongoing relationship. The governments of Asia haven't been covering up alien visitations. They've been covering up alien collaboration. I'm recording this in a secure location, I don't know how much time I have before they find me. The evidence I've gathered over these 5 years paints a picture that's both incredible and terrifying. We are not alone. We never have been. For at least 50 years, non-human intelligences have been working alongside Asian governments in a carefully orchestrated plan. The UFO sightings, the military encounters, the covered-up incidents, they're not random. They're part of a gradual integration process, a slow introduction of their presence to humanity, the 47-minute patterns, the underground facilities, the technology exchanges. It's all preparation for something bigger, something that's coming soon. Captain Wong's sighting over the South China Sea wasn't an accident. It was a test. They wanted to see how we'd react, how quickly the cover-up machine would activate, how effectively the truth could be suppressed. Lieutenant Park's Korean incident wasn't an invasion. It was a demonstration. 7 craft moving in perfect formation, showing capabilities that make our most advanced military technology look like stone tools. Dr. Tanaka's seismic readings around Mount Fuji aren't anomalies. They're construction sounds. Something is being built beneath those 17 locations across Japan. And I believe similar construction is happening all across Asia. Deep Sources files revealed the endgame. The Asian protocol isn't just about containment anymore. It's about cooperation, about preparing for what they call the integration. Ladies and gentlemen, first contact didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen last year. It happened decades ago. And our governments have been preparing us for what comes next ever since. The question isn't whether aliens exist. The question is, are we ready for what they have planned for us? And based on everything I've discovered, I don't think we have a choice. This is Michael Chen, reporting the truth while I still can. Watch the skies, question everything, and remember, the next time you see something impossible in the sky above Asia, it might not be a visitor, it might be a neighbor,